Hi everyone, my name's Abby and you're watching a Kickstart My Future presentation brought to you by Connections and Make Happen. In this presentation we will be exploring Post-18 options to help you think about whether higher education might be right for you. So, the three most common Post-18 options are usually employment, apprenticeships or university. Let's begin by listing some possible pros and cons of each. Feel free to choose one and pause this video here to jot down some of your own notes. So these are some of the most common responses we get for employment. The first obvious one is money and a regular salary. Although apprentices also earn a regular salary determined by the employer and the level of apprenticeship, and you could get a part-time job whilst at uni. So secondly, that sense of independence and responsibility that you might get through working and earning your own money. Learning new skills on the job. You get no exams or coursework. And you may start to work your way up the job ladder. So you'll get to know your company, how to do your job well, and develop in your role, which could well lead to a promotion. And finally, meeting new people and colleagues and being a part of a team. Did you have any others of your own? So, common cons. Whilst you may not have exams and coursework as you know it, you will undoubtedly have to undertake some training and keep up with continuous professional development. This will happen throughout your whole working life as the world changes and the industries change. As some careers can require you to have a certain level of qualification or work experience, you may have limited options to begin with. And with an entry-level job, there is usually an entry-level salary to start. So you might not be earning as much as you would like at the beginning. However, as mentioned on the pros list, you'll be getting to know your job pretty well, pretty quickly, so there may be room to progress quickly too. Of course, with any contract of employment, there is a big sense of commitment and responsibility. A full working week is typically between 35 to 40 hours. That's your 9 to 5. So not only is this a big time commitment, but you'll be responsible for carrying out your work duties to a good standard. Finally, some people actually consider having colleagues as a negative and may find the thought of having to build new relationships quite overwhelming. Okay, apprenticeships. So the main advantage of an apprenticeship is that you'll be earning whilst you're learning. You'll be gaining a qualification which will be paid for by your employer, and you'll be earning at least the minimum apprenticeship wage in line with the level of apprenticeship. But employers can set their own salary too, so you could be earning more. As with employment, you will be out working, gaining on-the-job, real-world experience. This will provide you with industry insight and skills for a specific vocation. Of course, this may seem more valuable to an employer in that industry than a university degree. You may even be offered a job with the same employer on completion of your apprenticeship. As you will be working for an employer, you will need to be work ready in general. However, employers will be conscious of the fact that you are learning and your tutors will be aware that you are working, so will often be very supportive to make sure that you're comfortable within your role. Okay, so cons. Because your employer will be paying for your qualification, you will be contracted to at least complete it and may be required to stay with the company for a minimum time period afterwards. This may be considered a con if you decide that you're not really keen on the company you're working with, or feel like you have made the wrong choice in terms of vocation. That's why it's really important to know what you want to do for a career in general before you apply for an apprenticeship. As you are learning on the job, the things you learn will be vocation specific, and this may limit your future options. Some subjects and industries do not have apprenticeship pathways, And again, this is why it's really important to have a clear idea of what you want to do in the future before you apply. Importantly, the apprenticeship route is no easier than university. Apprenticeships are work-based qualifications where you would typically spend 4 days learning skills on the job and 1 day at a college, university or training provider depending on the level or the employer. As such, the work-study balance may be a difficult one to strike. And finally, apprenticeships are extremely competitive, particularly compared to the thousands of courses available at universities across the UK. And on to university. Of course, one of the main reasons people go to uni is to gain a degree. And graduates tend to earn more on average compared to non-graduates. As will be discussed, however, apprenticeships are offered up to a master's level equivalent. Nevertheless, altogether, universities offer the opportunity to gain a qualification in a much more diverse range of subject options. So, you can specialise in a subject that you are passionate about, and they are more academically focused as opposed to work-based like apprenticeships. So university often allows people to experience a sense of independence, especially if you move to a new city or town to live away from home. And in doing so, many learn valuable life skills such as budgeting, cooking and cleaning. You might see this as a con. Additionally, university frameworks are committed to developing well-rounded students with transferable skills such as confidence, innovation, initiative and critical thinking through their teaching and learning. These are the sorts of skills that will benefit you anywhere you go. Another common pro that always comes up is social life. Yes, there will be parties and outings maybe, particularly during the famous Freshers' Week. However, you will also be meeting people from all sorts of backgrounds, different walks of life, as well as people with similar interests and visions to you on your course, all of which are great networking opportunities. And there are hundreds of different extracurricular activities, clubs and societies to get involved in around the year, which might range from American football to a music society or even a cheese appreciation club. Finally, yes, a university degree tends to expand job opportunities. It tells employers that you are able to engage with a certain level of work and research. It demonstrates commitment, time management and organisation, and so it doesn't necessarily matter what subject your degree is in. Of course, having a degree in a relevant subject to the jobs you're applying to will be seen as more valuable to these employers. And for certain careers that require specific skills and knowledge like teaching, social work, law, medicine, psychiatry, they will expect your degree to be in a closely related subject. As for cons, the first thing that always comes up is course costs and money. This is one of the biggest reasons that people choose not to go to university, so I'll spend some time addressing it now. There is a view that going to university means you will take out a loan that will put you in a massive amount of debt that you'll always be struggling to pay back. However, when you take out a loan from Student Finance England, which is available to all UK residents, and you complete your course, you only begin to pay that back when you are working and earning above a certain threshold. The student loans company will take a small percentage of your monthly salary and it comes directly out of your paycheck, so you don't have to do anything. So for an example, if you were earning £25,000 a year, that's just over £2,000 a month, about £42 will be taken from your monthly salary. I mean, you probably spend double that on a pair of trainers. This gets completely written off after 25 to 30 years, and most importantly, a student finance loan does not affect your credit score. Okay. Secondly, on the cons list is less work experience. Yes, of course, if you had been working or doing an apprenticeship, you would have spent more time at work. although many degrees do involve work experience modules and internships, and many uni students actually take up some part-time work or summer work. Next. Yes, a degree is a 3-year commitment usually, which might seem like a really long time at the moment, but it could be a worthy investment of time into your future. Classes, exams and coursework is always a biggie. You might be thinking that you've had enough of that, and that's fine. But there's always an element of learning throughout life, no matter which pathway you choose. And all the work will be about a subject that you have chosen, so hopefully you'll enjoy doing it. And some people actually find the social life and independence aspect to actually be a negative, as they think it might be a bit overwhelming. But you are fundamentally there to learn, so you can be as social or as unsocial as you like, although it's good to find a good balance for your own well-being. And you don't have to move away from home. You could commute, go to a local university, or even opt for distance learning. Either way, although there's a range of support available, you do have to be rather self-motivated to make sure that you get your work done on time and to the best of your ability. So as you can see, there are pros and cons to each of these options, and they can all depend on you as an individual, your personality style, your learning style, your skills, preferences, interests, and perhaps most significantly, your career aspirations. So, is higher education right for you? To answer this, you might be asking, what exactly is higher education? The best way to understand higher education is through the National Qualifications Framework. Once you've passed your GCSEs, you will have gained a Level 2 qualification. If you are at college or sixth form studying for your A-levels or another Level 3 course like a BTEC, you will be here once you pass them. So, higher education allows you to climb the ladder and gain a high-level qualification. This can be done by a typical university route or an apprenticeship route on the purple side, depending on your learning style, as we discussed, the area or subject you want to study, and your career aspirations. So a bachelor's degree, which is circled, is what people will typically study for at university. It usually involves a mixture of exams, coursework, project work, and research, and as we said, will take around 3 years to complete. But it can be done in 2 to 4 years, depending on things like whether you opt for an accelerated route, a foundation year, a year abroad, or an internship. Some careers actually require you to have completed a university degree. For example, if you want to be a teacher, you will need to have a relevant degree before you can start your teacher training. Other careers that require you to have a Level 6 equivalent include policing and nursing, including midwifery. These may be accessed via an apprenticeship route, but you would apply for these directly through the employer, so Essex, Kent or Met Police for instance, and the NHS. Level 7 is a master's level qualification. You would need a Master's of Architecture to be an architect. Level 7 qualifications are usually sought after in things like engineering, social work and law. These may also be accessed via the purple apprenticeship route. Level 8, or a doctorate, is the highest level of qualification you can gain in the UK. There's one obvious career that requires a Level 8 qualification, and the clue's in the name. Yep, doctors. This includes all doctors, including psychiatrists. However, a doctorate actually refers to a research project or a thesis written over 3 to 4 years. So whilst PhDs are common to careers in things like research, medicine, science and psychology, you can gain a doctorate in a topic that you are interested in enough to research for a minimum of 3 years. For instance, I'm applying for a doctorate in music, and I once met someone who gained a doctorate for his study of worms. Yes, worms. So apprenticeships are not available at this level because of the research-intensive focus. So, coming back to our common post-18 options. When thinking about whether higher education is right for you, the first question you might ask is, does the career I want require a high-level qualification? If yes, then HE is the way to go. Sorry about the mouse there. If there are jobs you might consider that don't require a higher level qualification for entry, and you feel you're ready to go out into the world of work, you might be considering looking at employment when you leave college or sixth form. But this doesn't mean you have to. It's true that employers do value high-level qualifications, and there's such a diverse range of course options at university, so you could go just to learn more about a subject that you enjoy, or to learn a bit more about a subject or an industry before you commit to a career in it. So, what's next? You could explore career profiles and job posts. Simply look at the person specifications for jobs and careers that might interest you. Do they require a high-level qualification? If not, why not start developing your CV now? But if it looks like you might need one, are there apprenticeships available in that area, or do you need a university degree? So we've listed some common apprenticeship search sites here. These might be a good place to start. Some big companies may advertise their own, so it's worth checking their websites directly if you have an employer in mind that you would like to work for. To explore university in more detail, visit UCAS, where you might begin to find and compare courses that interest you. If you're looking for a career in a specialist area, you may require a degree that has a professional accreditation, so please do contact us at Connexions if you're unsure. UCAS have listed a range of virtual open days being hosted by loads of different universities across the country, and you can also use their UniBuddy tool to chat to actual students from a range of different universities to find out more about their university experiences. Finally, also look out for more of our resources coming soon. We'll be focusing on job, apprenticeship and university course hunting in more detail, as well as offering advice on CVs, budgeting, application and interview processes, all aimed at helping you feel confident in navigating it all when the time comes. Please do bear in mind that as a knock-on effect of the current situation, some opportunities may be more limited than usual. As always, if you'd like to speak to a Connexions advisor, please email connections@southend.gov.uk. And feel free to follow us on Facebook, as always, at Southend Connexions, where we'll be sharing all the latest updates.